Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about kind of my experience growing up, and finding out that the reason that I walk with a limp, is because of something that's hereditary, something that there's nothing I could have done to prevent it, and just what that was like and how do we move forward, and also just to bring a little awareness, also to just bring a little insight, to the outside world who may not know, who may not have even thought about these things, and just kind of see how we can move forward as a society, also with people in our communities that are living with these disorders, or I don't want to say disorder, but like a disease that's hereditary that requires surgery in order to maintain. So if you're interested to hear my story, just keep on watching.
All that history, all that's history. I'll calm down eventually. Fall back even.
Okay, so I am Rashika. Obviously, for those of you who are returning to my channel, you would know that. And I have been living my entire life, with, I would say, a limp. Jamaican people say foot, knock knee, pigeon toed, is what the Americans tend to call it. And I just thought that, that's just part of life. That has been my life my entire life. From growing up in Jamaica, I don't recall ever being like really teased about it or bullied about the way I walk or anything like that. But I can recall after moving to the US and having kids pointed out a lot more. I remember in one instant when I was in high school, there's this guy who, I mean, there was a group of us that I thought we were all friends and all those things. And then he started kind of making fun of it, giving me a name, and people started to like repeat it. And at first, I think I was just playing along because, what do you do? You just play along. It is what it is. Until I realized that no, that's not okay. Like, that's actually a form of bullying. And if you were ever my friend, that would never be your go-to. You know what I mean? And I remember even in college, we didn't go to the same college or anything, and we had like ran into each other or whatever it was, and he called me by that name, and I'm like, no, my name is Rashika, that's not my name. And I think it definitely shocked him because all those years in high school I kind of just like let it go, and I just did not think that the way I walk was this big of a deal, or, again, I have always lived like this my whole life. I always been this way. For those of you who know me, obviously know, me and how I walk and all those things. My dad walks like that too. And now I'm at a place in life where I'm recognizing that my little brother also walks that way, and is also in pain majority of the time. Now, being in pain is something that I don't necessarily talk about. My family obviously knows a lot of times I'm in severe pain, crippling pain almost. Sometimes my husband knows now how, things kind of work for me. And I just, thinking back, and I mean, there was a whole situation with my little brother starting school where now in the school system, he has to get permission from a doctor to clear him to be able to play sports. Now, again, growing up, I did not think this was like a thing. I just thought that's just how life was. I didn't know that. But, ignorance is bliss. I was not aware. So when I got pregnant with my son and had to do genetic testing and all those things to kind of see if there's anything that I would pass down to my son that maybe would need to get looked at or need to get checked and all those things. That's when I was made aware that it was actually a hereditary thing that was passed down to me from my dad. Um, so obviously I know it's my dad because my mom does not walk like that. My mom doesn't have any of these symptoms or anything like that. So learning that is when I started to try and educate myself on what that is and kind of how to move around it. I also remember a time prior to finding out, with the genetic testing and all those things. I also remember a time where I went for, I think it was like a back to school physical that my mom had taken me to. And the doctor had explained that there was an issue, but in order to fix it, I would need to do a hip replacement. I think at the time I must have been 15, I want to say. It was, yeah, I think I was like 15 or 16. And they were explaining that in order to fix it, in order for me to not be in so much pain all the time, it would require me doing a hip replacement. That would take me out of school for, I think he said, about 6 months recovery time and all of that. However, he explained that I was too young to do it. Now, in hindsight, well, hindsight is 2020 also. In hindsight, I think it would have probably made more sense to do it then than for me to try and do it now while I'm in my career, because missing 6 months of work, let alone having a 2-year-old, that might not be that easy of a thing to do, right? Now, I don't remember the name that the doctor had said it was back then. All he explained is that my joints don't fully develop the way they're supposed to, and I think at the time I had a tennis injury. I was playing tennis in a match and I fell on my hip, all those things, and I was just in a lot of pain. I was just in a lot of pain. He explained, I would have to do a hip replacement and all those things. But then later on, now finding out that yes, I might have fell and fractured my hip in that tennis match. However, there is actually a bone disorder that would cause my hip to get damaged so easily. Now, the average person can fall and be fine. I didn't fall down any stairs or anything like that. I was just reaching for the ball, reached too high, and fell. But in my situation, so now I have a fractured hip that doesn't rotate like everybody else's, which on top of my bow footness or on top of my knock knee-ness or on top of my pigeon-toedness, I have a fractured hip, which now causes back pain, which causes knee pain, which causes ankle pain, which causes a plethora of things. And now in my adult life, finding out that my dad didn't fall from anywhere. He didn't fall from anywhere. My little brother is young. He didn't fall from anywhere, but he has those same issues, maybe worse, you know what I mean, than me. So now I'm in a place where I have to then educate my dad, because my dad is an older guy, obviously, who has lived with this his whole life. He just powers through. He just pushes through, which is why somebody asked me who I would say is like my hero or the person that I would want to make like the proudest. And I would say my dad, not to take anything away from my mom, obviously, but it's just to now be at a place where I know some of the pains that my dad has been going through his entire life and continues to push through it. And even now, sometimes I talk to him and he's in so much pain, and he got to be taking some big old pain pills just to make it through to the next day. Like, that's insane for me. You know what I mean? And even now, I try to explain to my little brother that yes, you're in pain. Yes, you walk different, but that doesn't stop you from being who you are. That doesn't stop you from powering through. That doesn't stop you from reaching for your goals. That doesn't stop you from reaching for the stars and, and accomplishing anything that you want to accomplish in life. So I'm just saying all of that to say that, like, I don't 100% recall the name that the doctor had told me, but based on my research and based on like the information that I have, it is called hereditary hypophosphate something. It's a really long word, but it's technically a genetic bone disorder. It's also called osteopathy. So, and then I guess it could be mistaken for hip dysplasia as well. I don't really think it's hip dysplasia. It's more so osteopathy, which again, it has to do with your bones. And over time, my bones will, I don't want to say decay, but I mean they decay eventually, but you know what I'm saying? They just weaken over time. They just weaken over time, which causes me a lot of pain. And I'm not saying this for anybody to feel sorry for me. Trust me, I do what I need to do. I go out and I grind just like anybody else. I used to play sports. I used to play volleyball. I used to play tennis. I did shot put and track and field my off seasons. I don't want anyone to look at me and say, oh, that's the girl with hip dysplasia, or oh, that's the girl with osteopathy. I want people to look at me and say, oh, that's that flight attendant from Jamaica that didn't let anything stop her. Oh, that's that mom who go above and beyond for her kids. Oh, that's that wife that does what she needs to do to support her husband. Oh, that's that sister. Oh, that's that daughter. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to look at me and judge me based on my outer appearance. I absolutely do not want anyone to look at my little brother who is just kind of figuring out himself and figuring out life and all those things and everything that comes with being a teenager. I don't want anybody to look at him and say, oh, that's the boy that walks this way, or oh, that's the boy that limps, or anything like that. Absolutely not. So this is not a video to say any of that, or this is not a video to ask for sympathy or anything like that. Absolutely not. It's just to bring awareness to you guys and show you that this is something that I've been dealing with I would say my whole life. It didn't really present itself until I really got into sports, I think, where I really started to feel the effects of it, and I really started to have the pain, the back pain. And even now, guys, there are times where I think people look at this job as so glamorous. And don't get me wrong, this is an amazing job, amazing career. But there are times where, because I'm doing so much, going back and forth with my heavy bags and lifting and pulling and all those things, there are times where I get on my layover, I get to my hotel, and I can't do anything. Like, I just lay in bed, relax, try to like reset in order to work my next flight. And to be honest, there are times I have to take a Tylenol or two in order to power through, because at the end of the day, I'm doing my dream job. You know what I mean? So I just want you guys to, for those of you who obviously know me and know how I walk, and know, I guess, a part of my life and how I've gotten to this point, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I just want you to be educated. I just want you to not be ignorant to the fact. And even for those who I grew up with who might have been making fun of me, or thought it was funny because of how I walk, thought it was funny as kids or whatever. This is just a learning moment for everybody. You know what I mean? And I do my best not to make fun of people. I really do, because we never know a person's story. We never know a person's background. We never know what a person goes through on a daily basis to be able to show up and show out. You know what I mean? And I just want anybody out there, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, who might be suffering or who might be experiencing these pains, who might be living with this disorder as well. Again, it is hereditary. There's nothing I could have done to cause it. There's nothing you could have done to cause it. It is just something that, happens in life. And God don't give us more than we can handle. But if you're out there and you have this disorder, or you experiencing any of these symptoms or anything like that, one, definitely get checked. Go to your doctor, get checked, get MRI, CT scan, whatever it is that they scan to find out these information. A blood work. I think I found out through blood work. So blood work can also tell you hereditary blood work scan. But you're not alone. You're not alone. There's plenty of people who out here who live a full life. You know what I mean? Yes, it's hard. It's not easy, and I will be the first to say it's not easy. But you will make it through. You will make it through. Just keep your head up, and push through. And to my little brother, don't ever let anybody dim your light. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something because of their ignorance or because of their assumptions about you. Anything you do, anything you want to do, put your mind to it and you can do it. You can accomplish it. Anything in this world. And you have two big examples. I'm here. You see me. You see me on a regular basis. You see me on a daily basis. You talk to me on a daily basis. And you see that I work my butt off to get it done. You see our dad on a regular basis. Daddy, you are the real MVP. Because regardless of the pain that you're in, you push out, you do what you got to do, and you ensure that both of us are good. So I just say that to say thank you guys so much for watching us. Thank you guys for watching my channel. Thank you so much for continuing to support. Thank you so much for over 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. God bless you guys. Continue to just be great humans in society. Continue to just be the driving force behind positivity. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you are interested, I'll put the information on the screen. Just look it up, Just look it up, because education is key and reading is fundamental. So once again, it's your girl Rashika, aka Ro, or Mrs. Kelly. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.